Hello and welcome to the Homeowner Prep Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Halan, and this podcast was created to provide real-world advice and accountability for first-time homebuyers. We'll be interviewing industry experts, providing some how-tos, and talking with first-time homebuyers about their personal experiences. If that sounds interesting to you, please be sure to subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the little bell to be notified when new episodes release. Now let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Homeowner Prep Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to continue on in part 2 of Stop Waiting for a Market Crash. In part 1, we talked about, the market crash that took place in 2008, what caused that crash, what we're seeing in today's market as to why that crash chances are is not going to happen again. Even if we see a correction, we won't see that same crash. But today, I'm going to really dive into what waiting for the market to crash is actually costing you. So we hear a lot about home prices going up. And so that's usually the biggest fear for people, as they're kind of waiting for the market to crash because they think, well, it can't continue to go up forever. And some truth to that. But even if you look at where home prices were in 2005 to 2008, at the height of that market, we're already above that in a lot of places throughout this country. And so, when we say home prices are continuing to go up, on average, we see home prices go up about 4%. But over the last few years, at least since the pandemic, 2020, 2021, we've seen double-digit increases, 23%, 25%, some markets in the 30% range in home appreciation. So that's the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to what it's costing you to sit on the sideline and wait for a market crash. As we're speaking right now, home prices are going up. Today's price is not tomorrow's price, right? So, what you can pay for a home right now in comparison to what you're going to be paying next month is a big difference. Not only in the home price itself, but also because we're now coming to the spring, summertime, everybody's going to be out and about looking to make a change, especially when school is out, thinking about where they want to be for the next school year. So now you have increased competition as you are in the marketplace looking to buy a home. So home prices will be going up, but also the big news that everybody is so afraid of is interest rates are going up. They've pretty much guaranteed, yes, we are raising interest rates. I told a lot of my clients back in 2021, they have to raise interest rates. They cannot keep them this low for this long. So if you're looking to buy a house, yes, interest rates are going to be, 4%, 4.5%, or whatever it may be. You're not getting the 2.5 to 2.75s that you were getting, maybe a year or 2 years ago. But what we're seeing is better to get 4 than to wait for 5. Right. So, and I can't make any guarantees on interest rates. I can't tell the future. But what I am telling you is that, today's interest rate is going to be better than tomorrow's because we're expecting interest rates to go up. We're expecting home prices to go up. So it's going to become more and more difficult for you to get into a home. Thus, you're losing out on that appreciation. Appreciation isn't guaranteed. I can't make any guarantees that your home values will go up, but over time, home values do. And so if you look at that and you say, well, hey, if I get in now, even if I have to get a condo, even if I had to get something smaller, it doesn't quite check off all my needs, but I could take advantage of the appreciation. Say there is a correction in 2 years from now, then maybe that's an opportunity for you to move up to the house that you want or whatever the case may be, but you're already in the game. You're already taking advantage of the home prices moving up. You've already locked in rate that is lower than what is going to be expectedly. And so you're already winning in the game. So home appreciation is definitely the most vital. The second is that your rents are going up, but your income isn't keeping up, right? So typically you don't get a 7 to 8% raise year over year at your job. But we do see rents go up 5, 6, 7% in some areas. If there's some type of rent control, obviously that's controlled depending on state, depending on location. But your rents are going to go up. You're paying your landlord's mortgage and they want to make money. They're in the business of owning real estate to make money. So the higher you pay in rent, the more profit they make. So those are things that you have to take into consideration. Are you going to continue to line their pockets and help them be profitable? Or are you going to figure out a way to get in the game, let that appreciation work in your favor, and you can start to pay into an actual asset that you can pass down? which is point number 3 for me, which is generational wealth. I mean, ultimately, people buy real estate because it's a real asset. It's the number one way to hedge against inflation, but it's also the number one asset passed down to family. So generational wealth is very important. As you get into real estate, and as you're buying properties, you have assets that you can then leverage, for the here and now, to start a business, to, do different things that you want to do, to retire, whatever the case may be. Your retirement could be in your house. And so you can leverage that. And that's for the here and now. But then also in the future, you have real assets, again, to pass down to your family that they could take advantage of and start out stronger than maybe you did. And so generational wealth is very, very important. It is costing you right now. If you're not in the game, if you're waiting for a market crash, you're losing out on some of these things, and ultimately your family is losing out. So those are very, very important to keep into consideration. One point I want to make about getting a loan or about qualifying to buy a house, if you have to buy and maybe you can't get qualified for as much as you want right now, the key is you are qualified, right? So you got approved for a loan, you can buy something. I want to make it very clear that there are no guarantees when it comes to loan approvals. Things change. Life changes. Your job is not guaranteed. So to get qualified now means take advantage of that qualification. Get into the game, get into a property that you can afford, that's a fixed rate, that's going to keep you protected. But, there's no guarantees that, a month from now, you'll be able to qualify. As interest rates go up, it may push you out. So if you are qualified, if you've already talked to a loan officer, then definitely take advantage of it. Be very, very aggressive in the market. Do all you can to get into a place and get in the game. But if you're not qualified yet or you haven't talked to a lender, reach out to us so we can connect you with the lender. You have to get started. You have to know where you're at so you can put a game plan together to get out in the market and actually find a place. So what's holding you back? What's keeping you from getting started? There should be nothing that will prevent you from at least having a conversation with the loan officer. And that's what Homeowner Prep is about. We're going to connect you with somebody who's going to at least put a game plan together for you so you know where you're at and you know how to get to where you want to be. So if you have any questions or you need help in connecting with a real estate agent or loan officer, reach out to us. You can always reach out to us on social media. You can DM us. And also, as you have some conversations with folks, make sure you're having these conversations with the right people. The professionals who are in the game, who have been in this business for a long time, who have seen markets go up and go down and can provide you with some real advice and wisdom based on experience. So I hope this episode provides you with some great content. Again, get in the game. Don't miss out on what's going on in hopes that we'll see a market crash, because we're just not going to see the crash that we saw in 2008. It's just not coming. So I hope this was great for you. I hope that you tune in next week as we provide some more great content. If you have any questions at all, reach out to us. Have a great day. I hope you got some value from today's episode. If you know someone who could benefit from hearing this show, be sure to share it with them. And if you're listening to the podcast, we'd love for you to drop us a review. We'd also love to hear from you if you have any questions. So reach out to us on Instagram at Homeowner Prep. Who knows? We may read your review and answer your question on one of our future shows.